Hey, Abdi, welcome. Yeah, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I've put some time into it and I've been enjoying it so far. I think I've got 16 or 20 hours or something like that in it so far. And yeah, it seems like it'd be suitable for our live stream here. So, and I know it was what all of you wanted to see. So we're gonna move into this. So yeah, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're looking forward to it. Hey, Rudy, welcome. Good to see you again. Yeah, glad you're here. Glad you're here. It was a good time getting a little break from everything, getting a little bit of stuff done around the house over the weekends. But yeah, I was ready to get back into another live stream, and I have enjoyed playing the game so far. So looking forward to it. And again, thank you very much for the continuing membership. I see your icon has changed to 1 month, and like I say, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I say, the support that I get from all of you is one of the reasons why I continue to do this. It's not work for me. I don't play games that I don't want to play, and while I do spend a lot of time on it during the week, it's not work for me. So I enjoy doing it. I'm happy to do it, and like I say, having y'all along for the ride is great. I love interacting with all of y'all. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 1 of our Kingdom Come Deliverance gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, couple of admin notes. First of all, I'm a little bit sick. My allergies have been really bad, and it's gotten me a little bit of a cold here. So, if I do sound a little nasally, I apologize. And if I do need to pause every once in a while to cough so I'm not coughing in y'all's ears, then I apologize for that as well. So, on the channel admin note, the big note here is what you are all here for. We have started a new live stream series. This series is going to be taking place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which right now is GMT -5. It's listed on our About tab for the channel. That schedule is up there, as well as the Avowed live stream, which is tomorrow. And for now, that is going to be all we're going to have on the live stream schedule. I'm debating whether I'm going to open up a third live stream on Wednesday or not. We've done this in the past, and there is something that I'm playing, something else that I'm playing, but honestly, I want to kind of take a break from those for a little bit and see what other games we have that are sitting on the horizon right now, that are possibilities that may come out. That live stream is in the evenings on Wednesdays here in the United States, which makes it really hard for my overseas viewers to join. So it's not an ideal time, but I do have a 50-hour-a-week job, so I can't take off from work to live stream during the day. So I'll look at that and see what I want to do, but either way, it's not going to be for at least a couple of months. But pay attention to the community tab and my social media if there's going to be any announcements about that, and we'll go forward. So I think that's it on the admin notes. So this is Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is a somewhat frustrating, and I say somewhat frustrating just because it is hyper realistic when it comes to the gameplay. It is an RPG that is set in the 15th century. Specifically up there at the top of the icon, you can see 1403. This was a very interesting time in the world in general, in Europe. And it's interesting to see a game specifically set in this region of the world in this time. You don't often see that. A lot of times when you see quote-unquote medieval type of games, they tend to be set in England or something like that during the times of the really famous English monarchs. The conflicts with France and all of that sort of stuff. This one takes an entirely different tack, and that's one of the reasons as a history minor in college, or a military history minor in college, sorry, I was very anxious to kind of delve into this. But this game came out in 2018, and when I put up the community tab or post about this, asking my community what they wanted me to play next, this was the favorite to see me play. And part of that was because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the sequel to this, came out in February of this year, February 4th, I believe. And it is a direct sequel, almost picking up exactly where the last one left off, to this game here. Now, there are some games where you can jump right into the sequel without having played the first one. You can do that with all games, to be honest. But there is certainly a lot of background lost, a lot of story and lore that is lost if you don't play the first one in some games. And this is definitely one of them. very similar, well, in some ways, to where the stories of Mass Effect build on the previous ones. This one doesn't take storyline choices out of this because the choices are actually quite linear. Um, but the cutscenes and the story here is directly influential on the next game. And I wanted to come back and start with this one. So I did some playthroughs, did some testing on it, and found out that the game holds up very, very well for being 7 years old. Um, the graphics are really good. It's CryEngine, which has held up really, really well over the years, even as more people have transitioned to Unreal Engine 5. CryEngine has held up really, really well. And when I went to play this, there are a few things where you're going to get a little lag. There's a little bit of screen tearing involved and that sort of stuff, but it is not bad at all. And the graphics, like I say, still hold up today. So I didn't see any qualms about playing a game like this on my live stream. And I was anxious to jump back into it when y'all decided that you wanted to see it. So we're going to start with Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 here, or what people commonly call it KCD. And then we will see about transitioning into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the sequel to this, once this one is done. So, as I said earlier, this game was put out in 2018. It was developed by Warhorse Studios. It was published by Deep Silver. And not saying they were relative unknowns, but these were definitely things that put them on the map as far as game development and publishing went. And that is seen in the reviews for KCD2 as well as this one, the original. So I'm anxious to jump into it, and I want to give you a little caveat. Well, actually, I'll give you that caveat in the first one. We're gonna go ahead and jump into new game here, and we'll kind of walk through the beginning of this before we get into actually controlling our character. Okay, so I have a play line that's already going, but you can have multiple play lines going at the same time. You have a limited number of saves inside each play line, so you will be quickly overwriting previous saves as you go along. So, two modes, normal and hardcore. This is not going to be a hardcore run. The hardcore run lets you pick negative perks, and there's an achievement for finishing the game with all of the negative perks enabled. I'm just not interested in the pain that goes along with it for a live stream. If you want to do this on your own, there are some great guides by some content creators out there that will help walk you through some of this. It just doesn't make sense for me to have to go through and constantly reload as I get into things like combat and even some unavoidable cutscene things that would cause me to possibly end my game and reload. I'm just not interested in doing it. So I'm going to play this in normal mode.
bless. Same to you. Today's a scorcher.
Well, husband, how goes it?
Good. I should get it finished today. Where on earth is Henry? I need him to run some errands.
He was still sleeping when I went out.
This hour? Blue-blooded idler.
Well, it looks like he was out all evening, drinking like a lord.
Go and get the lazy bones up then. Quick clout round the ear should do it.
Mm-hmm. Henry! Get up now. There's work to be done.
Mother. Get up or I'll come get you up, you slugabed.
Hear that? You'd better not vex him. Now get up quick. Your breakfast is on the table. Wait, what's this? Have you been... Oh, Henry. How many times have I told you about fighting?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just a scratch.
You've been at that sword play again, haven't you? You'd better pray your father doesn't get to hear of it. You know how he feels about it.
Oh, don't worry, it wasn't that. I just scratched myself is all.
Well, just don't come crying to me if you really do get hurt. Now get up, you rogue. A fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last night?
Okay, and now we're going to get into the actual gameplay here. And yeah, I did forget about it. Give me just a second here.
Nothing much. Me and the lads were just having a chat in the tavern.
Bummer.
Some wayfarer stopped by. He was telling us what's going on in the world, and well, I lost track of time.
Well, I hope he didn't fill your head with nonsense. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand. And that suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
Okay, so what I was going to explain here is that these first two checks that you get with your mother are going to directly level up one of these 4 stats that you have. Now, this playthrough is not going to be the max everything before you leave the prologue type of playthrough. Very similar to Skyrim and that sort of stuff, you can boost your stats quite a bit before you even leave the prologue here. And if you're going to play that way, my recommendation would be that you take strength twice. We took speech for the first one. We're going to take speech here again, and that's just because speech is the hardest of these 4 to level up. Agility, vitality, and strength level up fairly easily through normal course of gameplay. Speech, however, is a little different, and it takes a lot of work to try and level it up. It can be very important, and we want to focus on it. So for me, I'm going to take speech twice. However, strength in the prologue matters quite a bit if you plan on knocking people out to loot them or to be able to steal things from their house or lockpick chests in their house, because you have to have a high strength to be able to do that with certain individuals. So if you're going the way of getting all of your stats really high before you leave the prologue, I would highly suggest taking strength twice here. For me, I'm not going to be doing that, so I'm taking speech twice.
You think he's teaching me sword fighting, don't you? What use would that be to me? Here. I'm not lying to you, Ma.
All right, then, if you say so. I don't mean to pry, but you know your father takes a dim view of such things.
Okay, now for the rest of this, you have some dialogue options with your mother. The way the speech perk works, or the way the speech skill works, whenever you have a bolded white dialogue here, that is going to be able to increase your speech skill simply by clicking on it. It's not a lot of experience, but it is the way to gain speech experience reliably. You get more for passing checks, and we're going to see some of those checks later on and what those look like. But just having conversations with people can raise your speech stat. Now, if you have conversations with random villagers, you may have other people who have the same speech options. And if you have it once, you're not necessarily able to have that exact same one with another character somewhere. So when you start with that new character talking to them, it will be grayed out. If it's grayed out, don't bother clicking on it because you're not going to get any more speech experience out of it. However, you can have some that have the exact same words here, like have my friend's Ben here, that will be bolded on some and grayed out on others. If it's bolded, click on it to gain speech XP. It's just as simple as that. And while I was playing through the cutscene, Ostamura, welcome. Yeah, I know, Ostamura. This is, like I say, like I mentioned in the intro, this is a very interesting location in the world and a very interesting time to see this thing set. I was really happy to see that. Hey, Philip. Hey, Mixed Life. Welcome, both of you. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've got 16 or so hours into this, but I'm really looking forward to playing it with y'all. So what I'm going to do here is go through these options. When I get into talking to some of the villagers, I'm just going to fast forward through these. I'm going to get the speech XP and just fast forward through them because there's no need for us to see the same dialogue over and over and over again. I'm just doing it for the XP. So that's kind of how you're going to see me doing some of these.
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. They'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere as usual.
Mother.
You're nearly a grown man, Hal. Father will pass the forge on to you one day soon. You've been courting that Bianca for months now. Why do you have to keep wasting your time with those two layabouts? They're nothing but trouble.
Can I get something to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
And now you can see what the bolded versus grayed out options are. So having this again won't get you any more XP, but these will.
Is Father angry with me for sleeping late?
He's not happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radzig. He's not as young as he was. And you know how his joints pain him. He's too proud to complain, but he needs your help, Henry.
I know. Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always says his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking like such a nice day.
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
Okay, and now we gain control of our character for the first time. Now there's a couple of very important things to realize here. You see, we can't save our game. And that's because we have no savior schnapps. This game works on a rather unique save system in that there are only two ways to save your game. One is to have a potion in your inventory called Save Your Schnapps. You can make this via alchemy a little bit later on after the prologue, but in the meantime, you have to find them out in the world. And we're going to be gifted a few here. We're going to find a couple of more. But we'll probably not have any more than 5 or so. And that means that throughout the entire prologue, we need to be limiting how many times we save. Now, that can be a problem in this game. And that's because so many things that we want to do can get us either caught and thrown in jail, can have negative effects that we don't want to have happen. And because we're so early on and our skills just flat suck, it's going to make it harder to do some of those things. So there is another way to save, and that is through the save and quit option. Now, what this does is the Save Your Schnapps opens up a menu where you can create a new save listing every time. Save and quit does not do that. It saves the game to a end game save slot, and then it quits back out to Steam. You can start the game again, and there is no loading of that game. You can't go to load game and see it in the list. You just have to continue, and you will see the game, and then you will start back in where you left. So it is of use here in the prologue, and that's the way that you're going to be doing a lot of things if you're trying to maximize your stay here in the prologue, is by saving and quitting, reloading the game from Steam, and continuing from the main menu to get yourself back into the spot where you were. Now, we're going to see that a little bit here. I'm not going to lie to you. This is not going to be like my Baldur's Gate 3 runs, where whatever happens, happens. I'm going to show you how some of this works, and we're going to do it because there are some things here in the prologue that we want to do to be able to get a jump start on the full game itself. And we're going to need money. There are some easy ways to get money here. There are some easy ways for us to up some of our skills here in the prologue, and we want to try and take advantage of those as much as we can, without spending the next 15 hours here in the prologue. Okay? So, taking control of my character here, we're going to quickly open up our main screen here. If we go to player, you're going to see that we have a main level of 2. This main level goes up in direct result of our 4 main stat skills going up. Okay. Charisma, visibility, and conspicuousness all relate to, well, visibility and conspicuous, well, I guess they all do really, relate to how well people perceive us. A higher charisma means that you're going to have an easier time on some checks that you do in interacting with them. Your visibility and conspicuousness relate directly to how well your noise relate to how well you're able to sneak and hide and avoid being seen. Speed is just how fast that you either walk or run. And this is your overall state. Now you see nourishment is down here. There's an achievement. You have to maintain your nourishment in this game. There's an achievement for being below 50% nourishment for more than 5 in-game days. That doesn't do a whole lot here in the prologue, okay? Because the prologue time stands still. It may seem like you can wait and pass time, but the sun is set. It's fixed in the sky. This really only matters when you get into the full control of the game. So keep your nourishment up. There's also an achievement for keeping your nourishment between 50 and 100 for 5 days. And that's very similar to it. Once you get above 100, you start getting, your speed starts to decrease and your dexterity, your ability to hit things starts decreasing because you're overfed. Same way with your nourishment. If it drops below 20, then you start getting negative debuffs to your stats. So you do have to maintain your nourishment. And the way that you do that is through food, which we're going to see in a little bit. Now, as far as the stats go, you can see that we have an alert here. There's one ability point that we are able to spend here. You get ability points at certain levels throughout the game. And what you can do is it's showing which ones are available. They're bolded here. You can hit the Q key on mouse and keyboard, and it will bring up a description of what this does. Okay. So with every second level you reach, you can select one perk that will allow you to make your character more specialized. So right now, all of these are opened, and if we look at them, our food will last 30% longer, but as soon as you get hungry, the effects are going to be 20% worse. When we're dirty, a higher charisma with women. However, our stealth skill is going to go down. At night, our stamina regenerates faster, but it's slower during the day. This increases the sight distance of fast travel, so you'll notice events on the way sooner and your chances of evading them are increased by 10%. We're not going to have to worry about this yet in the prologue, but this can become very important in the first part of the main game after you exit the prologue. And then Wanderer. So the comfort of beds is inverted to you. So the worse the bed, the better you sleep, and vice versa. This can be very useful early on, but later on, it's not going to be nearly as much. For me, I'm going to take the ascetic perk here. With my next one, I'm going to probably take Scout. But for now, I'm going to take ascetic. And then our second set here. So down here in speech, you can see we're already level 3. You could be strength level 3, agility, vitality level 3. You could be at either one of the others or any combination thereof based on the choices that you had with Mother. We have not unlocked any of the perks yet at level 3, and you'll see why that is. These individual stats here work differently than your main level does. You only get these stats every so often, and you'll see them when they pop up. You'll get a notification here that you have unspent ability points. There's also combat skills, there's regular skills, and then there are buffs and debuffs that are showing up in here. Okay, you'll see more of this as we start to level them up. Reputation, this is how well you're liked in a particular city, which means that if you get caught doing something bad, it may cost you less to get out of it. Your amount of money that you're going to get back on bartering and haggling is increased and that sort of stuff. Here in the prologue, you're going to be at 100 for Scallots. And then your overall stats. And one of them under General, you skip down here, time overstuffed, time starving. These are where you can keep track of how close you are to those achievements that you need to get in the game. There's also a quest log here, which explains what markers are selected and what they do. There's a map. Now this map right now is just for Scallots. We can't see anything else out here. And it's a pretty big map, but it's actually not all that big when you're physically traveling it. When you're zoomed out, and then you zoom in, you'll reach a point where the map changes. You see from there, the big map, to there, the zoomed in map. And then this gives you a much more information about the local area that you're in. There's also a codex that explains the game and the tutorials. And right now you can see our inventory. Hey, Dave, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. You can see our inventory. There's a lot of stuff that you can equip in this game, and that was very similar to what happened back in this time period. there were multiple layers of clothing that you are able to wear. All of that goes underneath of your armor types that you can have. So you have plate, chain, a garment. All of these things, they layer themselves up. So it is possible to equip something in almost every slot here as we go. Right now we can see we just have the basics here, but we'll be quickly expanding that as we go. So the first thing to realize about this area is that we have a pot here. Okay. Be on the lookout for these. When you see campfires, there may be boiling pots on them. When you go into people's houses, there may be pots on them. You can eat from these pots once anytime that you find them without causing a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to eat from the pot. And now you can see that my nourishment is now up to 65. Eating from a pot's going to give you 25 nourishment whenever you do it. It's a free way to do it, but you can see that now I can't eat from it again. That option's gone. That option will come back after you rest, but not when you just pass time. It's basically once a day you'll be able to eat from that pot. The other thing that's important about this, about your house here, is this chest. This chest is going to be very important for us because this chest does not alter its state throughout the prologue. Most of the things that happen here in Skalitz are going to be entirely different once the prologue plays out. And that's because something's going to happen to Skalitz. However, this chest will always remain here. So if you're going to pick up items, you want to come back and put them in only this chest if you want to come back and get them later. So in this chest, we have some Savior Schnapps. So we definitely want to take those. The Marigold decoctions are our healing potions. We'll take those, and our bandages. The nails for Teresa, you can see this icon, they're quest items. We're not going to pick those up yet. The other thing about Mother's house is that we're not trespassing, so any of this food that's here on the table, we can pick it up. Okay, now there are animations for all of this, so it can get a little slow. The thing about food, and we'll just pick up some of it here. And I'm probably going to have to sit to grab some of the others. Okay, so I can't grab it while I'm sitting here. But some of the food that you have here, there we go. I'll just pick up a couple more, especially the bread. We go to our inventory. There's a condition rating here. As soon as you pick up some of these items, like apples, they are going to start decaying in your inventory. If you leave them in a chest for an extended period of time, they can rot. The lower this number, the higher chance you have of getting food poisoning when you eat it. And there will be a debuff associated with that. So if you're going to pick up fresh items or spoilable items, you want to use them or carry them and use them as you need them. You don't want to store them. You can sell them, which is always useful. You won't get a whole lot of gold for them. You can see these aren't worth a whole lot of gold. In the game, they call it Groschen, which is the currency at this time. But you don't want to just store these because they're going to become useless as you go. So if I look at my nourishment, I'm at 64. If I eat an apple here, I'm now at 66. So you can see that apples aren't going to give me a whole lot. And that's based upon the type of it. If it's more of an ingredient, something that you would put into something else, you're not going to get a whole lot. But lentil soup is going to give you a lot more nourishment. Okay, so what do we want to do starting out here in the prologue? We want to take note that there's a chest here. And this chest is an easy lockpick. If I try and lockpick it, we're going to get told that we don't have any lockpicks. Okay? Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff here that if you hover over it, you can open. And there's going to be food items in here. Okay? I'm going to take all of these. And there's a reason for that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly loot all of these. And this is because one of the things that we're going to need here starting out is Grushin. We're going to need gold. And to get yourself some gold at the start, an easy way is to sell off some of this food that you have. Like I say, you're not going to get a lot, but you're going to get some. Okay, so now out here, your mother's wandering around. We have another pot here that we can eat from. We're going to save this until a little bit later. And we can start exploring a little bit. Now there's another skill here that's going to be very important for us later on, and that's the alchemy skill. Okay, and this is basically how we brew potions, including savior schnapps and healing potions. Now to do that, to raise your alchemy skill, you can either brew potions, which we can't do in the prologue. We don't have access to an alchemy station yet. Or we can just pick herbs. Now, one of the most important herbs that you're going to be able to find here in the prologue are nettles. Nettles are used for both your savior schnapps and for your healing potion. Okay? So we're going to gather these, and yes, there's an animation for it. Okay? Now, you're not going to have to do this every single time for every single nettle that you find. You're going to have to do it starting out. Okay? But you're not going to have to do it every time. And that's because as your skill increases, you're going to be picking, and there's the herbalism perk that we want, or that we want to start leveling up. As you start leveling up herbalism here, you're going to be picking more of these in a radius around the one that you're clicking on. Okay, so now you can see that more of them are starting to disappear. Now there's a bunch of them that are sitting on top of each other here. And that's why this is a good spot to come out and start picking nettles when you start. Because there's a bunch of them that are sitting here. And the model of them all change. This is kind of a spiky dark green plant. A spiky leaf dark green plant. And I just normally pick all of them around here that I can. And our goal here, and you see herbalism is leveling up pretty quickly. Our goal here is to get herbalism up to level 10. Now we're not going to get it up to level 10 right here. Okay, we don't have enough nettles here in this spot, but we want to pick enough of them to get us up to level 10. The reason for that is because there's a perk that's going to unlock for us that is going to enable us to start leveling up our strength stat every time we pick an herb. And that's just free strength. Strength is normally leveled up by melee combat. But what leveling it up now, or this way, will do is allow you to use better weapons and that sort of stuff because you have a higher strength stat earlier on. And that's going to make things like melee combat easier for you, or easier for us to do as we go through this. So getting up to level 10 is kind of a priority for us. And nettles are normally found around walls and that sort of stuff. Okay. So here, and I can never remember an exact number here. But there's 39. I think you can get 45 nettles from around here in this area. So it's a good spot to pick them. And then as you go, start keeping an eye out for what things look like on the ground. Okay, these purple ones are sage. Okay, and I'm not going to turn this into a flower picking simulator. You certainly can spend literally hours here and level up your herbalism all the way to 20, which is the max level for all of these. I'm not going to be doing that, but I am going to be, like I said, getting my level up to 10. And as it goes, you see how I leveled up herbalism? I'm going to click this one in the middle. We've got sage here and sage here. I'm going to click the one in the middle and see if we pick the other two. You see, we picked that one right there. So that's what happens when you level up herbalism, is you pick more herbs at the same time. We picked that one as well. So as you level this up, it's going to get easier to collect your herbs. Now, what are we going to do with a lot of these? Well, I don't have access to an alchemy bench here in the prologue. We're going to be selling a bunch of these. Now, we're not going to be selling the nettles, and you'll see why here in a second. But most of these others, like dandelion, sage, and that sort of stuff, we're going to be selling while we're here. We're going to run the merchants out of, and chamomiles the same way. We're going to be running the merchants out of gold here is what we're going to try to do, so that we get as much gold from them as we can during the prologue, because I'm not going to spoil anything, but they're not going to be here very long. Okay, so we want to take advantage of them being here while we can. Okay, now we're going to avoid talking to our father there. That's going to trigger a part of the main quest. We're going to keep walking around over here, and as long as you don't talk to him, it's not going to trigger anything. Okay, because we have another type of ingredient here to pick up. Well, we do. This is valerian. And the hitboxes on these, on all herbs in general, are very strange. So see, this one I'm not even really looking at it. So just move your mouse kind of around it in an area, and you'll eventually be able to click on it and pick it up. So I think I might have a perk here available to me. So I don't. I need to get it to level 5. And each one of these, see, we picked that whole big radius of sage there. That just means that you're able to level your herbalism up faster as it increases and you pick more at one time. Okay, and once we get down here, closer to the guards, we're not going to talk to the guards yet. That's going to trigger something else, but when we get around the corner, there's going to be more nettles here to pick. Like I say, nettles are important. And once we level up our herbalism again, you'll see why. So let's just go pick the ones along this wall here. And again, I warned you that the prologue here can be a little bit of a flower picking simulator. It can also be a cow punching simulator. We're not going to be doing that. I will kind of tell you about it, but we're not going to be doing that. You could raise your strength all the way to level 20 before you get out of here by punching cows. But again, we're not going to be doing that. But we do want to raise these up, and like I say, I'm not searching every single one. Just moving around, picking what I see, and using that to get my herbalism levels up. So up here in this field, I don't think there's a whole lot here. There's dandelion here. Because we definitely want to get ourselves up to herbalism level 5 when we're going to get our first perk in it. Because that perk's going to be really useful for us. Not saying level 10 is not, because that's the ultimate goal. But level 5 is going to be a direct benefit for us. I don't think I can pick up this spade. No, I can't. Okay, now this NPC here is actually quite important. The skills that we have here, we have stealth. Okay, our stealth skill is going to be based upon doing things while we are in stealth. One of the easiest things to do when you are in stealth is to knock people out. Okay, now how well you're able to knock them out depends on your strength, right? This NPC has an incredibly low strength, and so do we, for that matter. But the only people that can see him get knocked out is there's a patrolling guard that is currently not out here, and your mother will occasionally come walking down this path and walk out there. Now, when he's knocked out and you're not around, they don't seem to care. Now, if you kill him while he's on the ground, knocked out, then yes, they will spot a dead body. And if they see it, then they can raise the alarm and the guards will start questioning people. But if they just walk by an unconscious individual, it normally doesn't trigger anything unless it's a guard that is in close proximity to you when you do it and you have not moved away. Now, a knocked out NPC will wake back up after a short amount of time, and you can then knock them out again. Now here you see we've got herbalism, we got a new perk point. So let's go over here and look at herbalism. You can see we've got an unspent perk point here. And we have two. We have flower power and we have horse nip. Now, horses and shying we're not going to have to worry about right now. It is a really good perk to have, but we're not really interested in it yet. Flower power, however, if you've got enough fragrant herbs in your inventory, you get a +2 charisma bonus. That's a flat bonus on top of what you already have. So if we learn this, and we keep nettles in our inventory, then you can see down on the bottom right, we have now a +2 bonus to our charisma. Okay, it's a great early game boost to help you through speech checks and that sort of stuff, as long as you have a fragrant herb in your inventory, and nettles count as that. Now, you only have to carry, I think, 20 of them or 30 of them in your inventory to trigger that perk. Okay, so we're going to head around and kind of be on the lookout for more herbs as we go. Okay, now this field over here is going to have, you can see, it's got a lot. And this one is a new one, St. John's wort. Okay, now if we go to other and we look at Groshen here, chamomile, dandelion are 0.4, St. John's wort is 0.8, sage is 1.2. So the higher value these are, obviously the higher you're going to be able to sell them for when you get to a merchant. So if you'd like, you can maximize your time here by focusing on stuff like St. John's wort and sage to be able to up your money or your groschen as much as you want. I'm just interested in picking everything to be able to get my herbalism up. I'm going to be selling it all anyway. So again, once you get to a certain point, you see we picked all of those in that huge radius. So start looking to get one in the middle and picking it as opposed to picking ones around the edges. Because you're going to get a pretty big radius around these to start picking these up, and it'll maximize your time here. Now it's only going to pick the ones of that type, so you can see it didn't pick the chamomile here. It's only going to pick all the ones of the same type in the area that you were looking at. And again, I know this isn't the most exciting gameplay, the flower picking simulator, but I cannot stress to you enough how important it's going to be to have strength later on. And since we focused on speech to begin with, talking to Mother, having a reliable way to get our strength up that's outside of combat is going to be incredibly useful for us. So that's why we're doing this, is so that we can get up to level 10 and we can get another perk which is going to help us with our strength. Because bending down to pick these up means that you're going to be using the muscles in your legs a lot, and that's going to give us strength. So we're just going to work our way through this field. There's a lot of sage here. There's also a lot of valerian here and St. John's wort, so this is all valuable stuff that we can sell. We're not going to sell any of the nettles. And those are not nettles. They just look like it. Okay, so here's St. John's wort, and again, you can sell this for a bit. Because what we're going to do here is not, like I say, this is not going to be the min-max type of playthrough in the prologue. But we want to be able to get a head start. And you can see our herbalism just went up to level 6. About every 20 times that you kneel down to pick something, you're going to up your herbalism. Okay, so we've really only got 100 times to do it. If it takes 2 seconds to do it, 200 seconds. So you're looking at just a few minutes to do this, to get quite a ways through your herbalism skill. So let's just be a little patient here, because like I say, I fully understand as a content creator that this is not the most exciting gameplay for y'all to be watching. But what we are going to be also doing is getting familiar with the different types of herbs here and what they look like as we go. These are all in short grass for the most part, so it's pretty easy to see them, to pick them out. This can get a lot harder once you leave the prologue and you end up out in the real world, so to speak. Because a lot of these things aren't nearly as visible. And knowing what they look like can help you find them from a long way off. Another trick here is watch your background when you kneel down. Because when you kneel down, the camera kind of zooms in a little bit, and you can see if there are other herbs around you that you might not have seen. Okay, so I can see there's chamomile behind me. So if I turn around, I can see it here. So it's a lot easier to see it in this zoomed in view when you're bending down in the animation. So keep that in mind as well. It's kind of a little helpful trick to know if you've maybe missed something that's around you, if you are trying to pick these up. And again, I'm going to pick in the middle here and see how much of this chamomile I pick. You can see I picked all of that around me. So start looking towards the middle instead of the edges when you're doing these. as your skill goes up. And yeah, I know, Ebony. We all grind. It just doesn't make the most exciting gameplay. I normally try and grind off stream. It's just the prologue. I'm not gonna be able to come back to this. It is here, and once I leave it, I'm done. So I would like to get as much of a head start as I can, and that means that y'all are just gonna have to suffer through, like I say, the flower picking simulator here for a little bit as we go through this. But quickly enough, we'll be up here enough where we can head off to town officially. So I'm going to focus on Sage here. And there's one behind me, I just noticed in my camera view. Yep. And there's a bunch of Valerian up here off to my right. But yeah, like I say, very similar to what you can do with Skyrim in the prologue by sneaking around the bear or punching the NPC in the prologue who's essential and can't die. There are ways to max out all of your, or to max out a bunch of your skills before you even leave the prologue. That would be incredibly boring gameplay. So we're definitely not going to do that. But we are going to get a jump on a head start here. Okay, so now you see the encumbrance mechanic. So down here in the bottom by the bar, the red is my health, the yellow is my stamina. There's an icon beside it, which indicates that I am now encumbered. Okay, now that will gradually fill up with yellow the more encumbered that I am. And the more encumbered that I am, the more that's going to have an impact on my movement speed. There are other things that I cannot do right now at all when I'm encumbered. I can't jump. I can't sprint at all while I'm encumbered. But my speed is still okay. I'm still able to walk pretty easily. However, as this goes up, you will turn into the slowest. This game has the slowest walking speed of any encumbered mechanic I have ever seen in a video game in my 45 years of playing video games. It is ludicrous how slow you walk when you are heavily encumbered in this game. And there's a part of the prologue that we're just going to have to suffer through that. Because we're going to be getting a head start, there's about a 20-minute section of me just walking heavily encumbered from one town to the next. When you're encumbered, you cannot mount a horse. Or when you're heavily encumbered, you cannot mount a horse. So there's no other way to do it. You just have to suck it up and walk incredibly slow for, like I say, about 25 minutes. It gains you a big head start because of the amount of weapons, armor, and groschen that you can get out of it. But it is incredibly slow. And I don't know as if we're going to see it today, that particular point. Actually, I'm pretty sure we won't. But you will. I will try and do it off stream so that you don't have to suffer through it. But there is an encounter and a cutscene associated with it that I don't want anybody to miss. So the timing's really going to depend. Okay, so I think that's herbalism level 7. Okay, so not all that much farther left, and these hitboxes drive me nuts sometimes. Okay, so a little more Valerian down here, and then we're going to head into town real quick. And we're going to sell off some of this. We're not going to need all of this Valerian that we're picking. We will pick this sage. The things that we really need to keep are nettles, which we've already found. We need to keep any marigold that we find here. And we need to keep belladonna, which I don't think we find belladonna here in the prologue. But you can see how much we've slowed down already, and we're not even 20% encumbered, over encumbered. Okay, so we're going to make our way back to the main entrance down here. We're going to come back and be dealing with this guy quite a bit here in a little bit. Because we're now down inside the main town here. The charcoal burner we're going to be talking to in a little bit. There's a gambler where you can actually gamble on a dice game. Very similar to the game Yahtzee here in America. But then we have these traders here. We have these grocers. And if you look at our map and we zoom in, you'll see kind of icons for some of them on your map.
Good day.
Okay, so if we talk trade and we go to sell, you can see what items you're able to sell. Now, not every merchant is going to buy every type of item. Okay? And that's kind of where looking around comes in, because you see the icons that are on your HUD
God's
up there.
Blessings.
Okay? So here, if you scroll down through all, you can see the things that she will buy. So food items and that sort of stuff, she will sell. Now, we've got 46 apples here. She only has 40 groschen in her that she can use. But if we add those to the basket, then you can check your basket. And you can see here, we're going to get 4.6 groschen out of that. So we don't necessarily need to go look at it. So I'm going to add all of these to the basket. And the bread and the bread roll I'm going to keep. You see, now we're getting 15 groschen. So now if we go to check basket, there's a haggle option. Always use haggle. Okay, this is another way to increase your speech skill.
Can we do something about the price?
Aye.
So if you look at haggle, and I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but here you can make an offer. So as you see, as we decrease this slider here, we're going to be asking for more and more groschen from them. Underneath it is an icon with a head. As you fail a haggle, that head is going to fill up to let you know basically how many more times you have available to try and haggle before they get upset and you lose reputation. Okay, so what I normally do is take it somewhere down around the halfway mark and I make an offer.
Satisfied?
That's too much.
Okay, and she's going to lower her asking price, and you can see down at the bottom, that head filled up halfway. So we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room here to be able to haggle. And this is simply because our skills in this area are so low. Our speech is so low. As you ramp this up, you're going to get a lot more leeway here on what you can get. So I'm just going to offer 16 and see if she takes it. It would be fully safe to offer 15 and a half. You know, actually, I'll just offer 15 out. I'm not really interested
That's a sum I can live with.
in that. I'd rather not lose reputation here than get more gold out of it, because this isn't going to be the main way that we make gold in this. This is a way to get some gold while lowering our encumbrance. And you see, this person here has 80 wealth, and they can buy our herbs. Okay. I'm not going to sell the nettles. So now I'm going to haggle.
Let's have a word about the price.
Aye.
Okay, so I'm going to go down here. Since my skills suck, I'm not going to offer way down here like I normally do. I'm going to get a little more crafty about this.
Since it's you.
Close. Drop the price a bit more and we'll shake on it.
The closer you are to their price, the less the head is going to fill up. Okay, so if you give an outrageous price, they're going to be angry with you at the start. So you'll have fewer chances to be able to haggle with them. So in this case, I'm going to try and go here.
Aye, that would do it.
And you see, we get a little bit more than he was asking. All right, and now I'm completely unencumbered again.
A torch will help. Your field's life, fellow.
All right, so we're going to go up here to the outside of this wall again. And kind of work our way around over here. You see my stamina at the bottom is running out. Your screen will turn blue to let you know that your stamina is running out. And we can go back to the flower picking simulator for a bit. So I'm interested to know, those of you who have played this game, have you finished it? Did you get all the way through it? Did you even know about it until Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 came out? Because that became a big deal on YouTube amongst content creators. So I'm curious in the comments what your exposure to these two games were and how you heard about them. So over here, there's a couple of other important things that we'll quickly talk about. Just picking up the sage, and again, that's because sage is more of a high dollar sale for us. There's a sheep over here. You can punch sheep, okay, and get your strength up. It's not a great way to increase your strength, but it is a reliable way to increase your strength. Now, when you punch them, they will run away. So what you can do, though, is you can herd them into a corner, kind of trap them in that corner, and just start punching away on them. Now, they will eventually die, but that's not a bad thing necessarily, as you will get meat out of it, and that meat you can sell. Yeah, Abdi, and I think that's how most people became aware of it. Is there was a lot of hype around KCD 2 when it came out. It started showing up in everybody's content on their channels, and then you'd go back and you'd look at it, and the game was, $4 on Steam or something like that. So it was an easy pickup. Now, I bought the version we are playing here is the Royal Edition. And that means that we have the 5 DLCs installed with it. And that was a little more expensive. I think it was $20 or something like that when I bought it. It gave Warhorse and Deep Silver an excuse to raise the price when KCD2 became popular. But yeah, I had heard about this game when it came out in 2018. I did not have a PC back in 2018. I had an Xbox. I have never had a PlayStation. So when this came out for Xbox, it was horrifically slow. The frame rate was so bad that I thought the game was broken playing it on my Xbox. So I was not happy about the purchase at all when I got it back then. So I didn't play it. I played it for a little bit, for half a day or something like that, and then got just fed up with the performance of it. CryEngine had been out for not all that long back when this came out. And if you're not familiar with CryEngine is heavily modifiable by third parties after you've licensed it. It's actually what Star Citizen is based off of. They licensed CryEngine, and they basically started rebuilding CryEngine from the ground up to be able to do things that it was never meant to do. CryEngine was never meant for large open areas that don't have ground in it, like a space simulator that it was, and things like that. It doesn't do very well with large open environments. And now things have changed quite a bit as the different upgrades to CryEngine have come out. So it's gotten quite a bit better, and I probably should have gone back and played it some more after that bad experience. Because CryEngine went through some changes and the game got updates. But I was just so frustrated with it that I didn't go back to it. So I came back and started playing this when KCD2 was announced. I decided to come back and play this. So I bought it on Steam on my personal account, and have played it there, a little bit, but didn't have it here on my gaming account until KCD2 released, and I got, everyone got the exposure to it, and then I went and bought it here. So I've actually played it a bit more than the numbers on Steam show on this account, because this game is the second time I've purchased it, or the third time I've purchased it, basically. Once on Xbox, once on Steam on my other account, and then once on my professional account here. So, but yeah, I'm anxious to see that, or glad to see that more people have gotten into it, because I do think the game holds up pretty well since when it started. So just checking my stats here. So herbalism is at 9. We're almost to 10. So hang in there a little bit. And I'm going to focus on nettle a little bit more. Nettle, like I say, is around fences and around buildings is where you're going to see it. I'm going to focus on nettle a little bit more here, because we're definitely going to want nettle and a good supply of it, because alchemy is where we're going to is how we're going to make money in this game. It is by far the fastest way to get groschen in this game. The other thing we're going to focus on are these orange flowers. These are marigold, used for the marigold decoction, the healing potion. And we're going to stock up on all of these that we can find in here as well. Now that we're getting close to level 10, we'll start focusing more on needs as opposed to just leveling things up. And you can see how big a radius we're now picking on our nettles because our skill's gone up so much. You can clear out a lot of area really fast as your herbalism skill grows up or gets higher. So like all of this, we'll just pick here in the middle and see how much of it we'll actually pick. Yeah, see, we picked all of that. So that's what I mean. Be a little more selective about where you pick. Maximize your intake on some of these things. Here's more marigold. Like I say, I don't think we have belladonna here in the prologue, which is what we need for Savior Schnapps. But there is, once you get out of the prologue, there's a couple of really good areas that are close to where you come out of the prologue for you to go pick it. Okay, so there we go. So we got our next perk point. We're going to finish picking these marigold here, and then we're going to level this up. And I'll kind of show you how it works. So in our herbalism skill tree, we have a couple of things here. So as you level it up, you're going to unlock certain perks automatically as you go. And you can see that we've unlocked a couple. If you have enough fragrant or resistance, we unlocked, but flower power we unlocked, or I guess flower power we unlocked to give us the +2 charisma bonus. Resistance unlocked on its own. You've collected such a quantity of poisonous herbs, which is what nettles are, that your vitality is permanently increased by 2. Okay, so that's a passive one that levels up with us. We're going to take leg day. Herb picking will add experience to your strength stat 2. So now what we can do is we can go look at our strength, and we can see that we have 0 XP in our strength. Okay, so let's go down here and pick these marigold. Now if we go back into our player stats, you can see that we have 1 XP. Right? Now, this is not a way to level up your strength by doing this just by itself. Okay? 100 is what you need to get to the next level, and that means you're going through that animation 100 times. You certainly can do it. Not saying that you can't. This is another way to help level up strength. But if we're going to be picking stuff anyway, we might as well be getting strength XP out of it. And doing it here before you come out of the prologue and you start picking nettles and marigold all the time to be able to craft your potions and sell them to get money, it doesn't make any sense if you're not gaining free strength XP out of it as well. Okay, so that's why you're getting yourself up here to level 10. We're going to go back over here to, and I can't remember which trader it is.
God almighty. Has something happened to you? Did someone steal your fancy clothes?
Now this is something else that I want to focus on. We're going to end the dialogue here. And that's because if I go into my inventory and I look, actually it doesn't show anything here, but the decrease in our health, our condition here, is starting to affect our interactions with merchants. Also, the more stuff you do, you're going to see black splotches appear on the icons to indicate that your clothes are dirty. And that will also affect how you interact with merchants and the prices that you can get from them. Now, how do you fix that? Well, scattered around here, you're going to find these troughs where you can wash yourself. That will remove the dirty condition from your clothes and give you a slightly better chance to haggle better. Okay, and you see he didn't give us any comments about our clothes there. So we're going to sell off some of these nettles. We don't need that many. He's got 27. Okay, so that'd be almost maxing him out. We're going to check our basket. We're going to haggle.
Can we do something about the price?
Sure, why not?
Okay, now this is only going to be able to go down so far because his wealth is up there at the top. Or not, sorry, that's my wealth. His wealth is going to be limited by how much he has left, and so we're not going to be able to go below 27 here because we wouldn't have enough money to pay us.
Satisfied?
Close. Drop the price a bit more and we'll shake on it. Aye, for that amount I can be persuaded.
Mixed goods, handy implements, and machines of every kind.
So now
Come
for
on up and
the
buy.
rest of it that we have, we're going to go throw this in our inventory real quick, and then we're going to head back out a little bit and deal with the quests that we have to do here in this area. We could continue to level up our skills, but again, I'm not going to waste any more time here. But what we are going to do is drop the merit. Whoops. So I need to take. I'm going to take 30 nettles. Weapons I don't have. Okay, so now we're good. And let's take a look at our quest log. So we need to go to our father and we need to go to the sword fighting lesson. Okay, so we have two objectives here that we can deal with. There's also a couple of side objectives that we can deal with down here. But first, I'm going to look around. Nobody here. Nobody here. Okay, and now I'm going to drop the body. You can pick the body up, and I'm going to loot it, and I'm going to steal everything. Okay? And you want to move away from the body. You don't want him to wake up when you're done. And I'm going to run back over here to the house, and I'm going to put these stolen goods in our chest here. And you can see they have a stolen tag on them. And merchants will not buy stolen goods. Fences will buy stolen goods. Now you can wear stolen goods if you want. But if you're wearing or you're carrying stolen goods and you get found or stopped by one of the town guards, they will take all of your stolen items from you. Okay, and we want to move past him while he's still unconscious. He will wake up, and you can go do the exact same thing to him again. And what that's doing is that got us halfway to level 1 in stealth. Okay, so we want to try and level up our stealth stat here, and we can do that a few times by just doing that to him. Okay, but we also learned from our mother that we have some friends out here, and our friends are probably hanging around at the tavern, right?
You can't be serious, Deutsch. Insulting our king.
What insult? I say only the truth. Sigismund has done only what he had to.
He had to abduct the king. He had to lure his cousin Prokop into a trap and imprison him. He had to invade with his army of Tatars and besiege Kuttenberg.
Why not? What is this Wenceslas for a king? The empire is falling asunder in his hands. The German counts elected Ruprecht of the Palatinate as king because your Wenceslas would not go to their deeds even.
German counts. Traitors.
Now even the Pope
God be with
is
you,
opposed
Henry.
to your king.
I'm with you,
So are
Matthew.
such lords as
What's
Henry
going on here?
of Rosenberg,
Deutsch is spouting shit.
Dukes Albrecht,
What?
and
Just
Wilhelm
listen and you'll hear for yourself.
Someone has to bring order and reunite the empire.
What do I care about the Austrians? And nowadays, not even the devil himself can keep up with all the popes. Which is the rightful pope? The one in Rome or the one in Avignon?
Do not blaspheme, Alex.
No, it's true, though. Wenceslas is the king of Bohemia. Bohemian nobles are on his side. To hell with Rosenberg and his cabal. Sir Ratzik is Wenceslas' commander-in-chief. He stayed loyal to the king. And if he heard you talking like this, he would have you whipped like a dog.
Your Diet will soon have nothing left to rule. Jobst had to sell Luxembourg to help your king. South Bohemia is with Sigismund
And don't forget about Kuttenberg, where Germans like you kissed Sigismund's feet to keep their heads.
Yes, but
Goodman Deutsch, this is pointless. Let us talk of more pleasant things.
My words exactly.
Deutsch has gone too far. Wenceslas is our rightful king.
Deutsch is an idiot. But what can you do?
I might have an idea. Deutsch deserves to be taught a lesson. Doesn't he, Fritz?
You're too right, Matthew. Should give him a proper hiding.
Are you mad? Do you want to end up in the pillory?
Don't listen to Fritz. I've got a better idea. Deutsch was talking such shit, it made me think of that huge parliament. You know, the one right next to his freshly whitewashed house.
You think we should redecorate for him? Count me in.
Well, I'd rather torch it, to be honest. But throwing some turds will do.
What do you say, Henry?
But I was going to get ale for father and a few other things. We're finishing Sir Radzig's sword.
Come on. Throwing a few handfuls of manure is not going to take all day.
And it's our duty to defend the honor of our king.
So, Hal, are you with us?
As soon as it lets out of this, you want to talk to Fritz. He's the one in the brown garments, but we were going to say we'll do it.
Oh well. Father can wait a while.
My words exactly.
I knew you wouldn't miss out on all the fun. Let's go.
What the?
Okay, so I did that out of order. And I wonder if that's going to change everything down the road from this. I think we'll be able to do it once we get to that other cutscene. So, I want to go talk to my father first. I was wondering about that. And there you can see your mother walking past him. He's back up on his feet. So be careful when you're trying to do that with him. We're going to have another cutscene with my father because we need to get those guys help in doing something. And to get their help in doing it, while I'm getting their help to do it, Fritz is going to help me out with something else. But to do that, I should have triggered this cutscene with my father and gotten the quest of what I need to do. So I think we can still do it, and I think I'm still able to get them from Fritz, but you should do this first before you go talk to your friends.
What's the matter with you, Henry? Didn't you hear me calling you?
Okay, and this is going to open you up to the persuasion mechanic. Basically, you're going to have multiple ways of trying to convince somebody to do something for you. And that's using your speech skill. That's what the top icon is for. Your social status or your charisma is what that second one is for. Your strength is what the cross swords icon is for. And then you can also bribe people by trading or haggling with them, basically, to do it. So for these checks, there's not a whole lot of chance that we're going to be able to do a whole lot else for this.
Sorry, I had to go and deal with something.
Well, it's no great tragedy. Anyway, we've a lot of work to do today. I'm finishing the sword for Sir Radzig, and I need your help.
With what?
I'm running out of charcoal. Run to the market and buy a bag from the charcoal burner.
I'll need some money then.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Kunesh still owes me for an axe, a hammer, and the nails I sold him a month ago. Not to mention his debt from before. Go and tell him to pay up, at least for the axe and hammer, and then use the money to buy the charcoal.
Kunesh? That drunkard? That'll be fun.
Well, you're a big lad now. I'm sure you can manage. If not, tell him that next time I'll come myself and personally use that hammer to bang those nails into his arse.
Sure he'll be happy to hear it. Is that all?
Not quite. The Chamberlain at the castle has the crossguard for Sir Radzig's sword, which I had engraved in Sasau.
You want me to go and pick it up? All right. Money, charcoal, crossguard. Got it.
And ale. Stop off at the tavern on your way home. I know you'll be going there anyway to see that girl of yours. But make sure the ale's still cool from the cellar when you get back.
Her name is Bianca.
Right, so make sure Bianca draws me a nice cool one. Run along now, work won't wait.
Okay, and this is going to open, it's going to first of all give you a save spot. That was an automatic save, and it's going to open up the next set of objectives here. And I want to look, that's my mother right down there. I don't see any guards. Okay, so I want to knock him out again. And now I've gone up in a level of stealth. Okay, I won't have any perk points put in this for yet, but I did level up or get takedown. This lets you knock people out from a crouching position. So that's what we've been doing here, and that's going to be our main way of leveling up stealth here at the start. Now, what you would normally do now is go to Kunesh. Who's here? Okay, he's loading up around here somewhere. There he is.
God be with you, Kunesh.
What do you want?
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer, and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
You know you owe father for a lot more than just the axe and hammer. If he went to the bailiff about it, you'd be in deep water. At least pay for the tools if you can't pay for everything.
I told you I have no coin, you bastard. Get the hell out of here, or I'll use the axe on you.
Look, I know things aren't easy. Your wife ran off, booze is dear these days, and you're as much use as a square wheel. It's no wonder you're short of coin. But a debt's a debt, and I can't leave here without something.
If I had anything to give, I'd give it. But I've got nothing.
So leave me in peace, all of you. And don't come back.
Okay, and this is try to get your next objective, and you can get your friends to help you with this. And then when you go to them and you go talk to them over there, you can talk to Fritz afterwards. And there's a way that you kind of start that. And we need to wait for him to go away. Okay, that axe he's using is the axe that we need to get back for Father. Okay. The other items are inside here. So let's wait for him to finish chopping this wood over here. And then we'll head inside. The reason we're going to wait for him to finish is because there's a trespassing mechanic in this game. And you don't want to be seen by anybody in a trespassing area. And his house is marked as one of those. So we're going to wait for him to do a little chopping here. And then he's going to leave. He's going to pick up his basket. Or he's going to load up his basket. And he's going to go around the corner and unload it. And while he's gone, we're going to go inside. Now you can unlock his or open his door without any problems. It'll save you some time, but you don't want to go in there yet. And now he's going to leave. We're going to crouch down. And this chest here.
A locked chest. I'll need a lockpick to get into that. Fritz might have one.
And that's what you're supposed to do. Because now it will unlock getting lockpicks from Fritz, and you can get them right there in that conversation. Now they've left to go do the next thing on their list, which I'm pretty sure if I walk up to them, it's going to start a cutscene, but I think there's a conversation that I can have because... Yeah, here are my friends here, and as soon as I walk up to them, I'm pretty sure it's going to start a cutscene. Let me see if I can talk to Fritz.
Listen, there's this locked chest I need to get into.
Really? And only straight not good enough for you anymore?
It's just that someone has something that doesn't belong to him, and I want to take it back.
If you say so. It's not skin off my nose anyway. I've got some lockpicks you can have. But if you get caught, you didn't get them from me.
Never heard of you. Thanks, Fritz.
Okay. So that's going to get us 4 lockpicks. Now, lockpicks are incredibly useful here in the prologue. There's no reliable way to get lockpicks. You can't buy them here in the prologue. So you want to make sure that you are saving in one way or another before you do a series of what I'm about to do. The first thing I'm going to do is go in here and talk to Bianca.
Welcome, Henry.
God save, my lovely. You're looking well today.
You too, handsome. What brings you here?
And I'm not going to pick up the ale. Okay, the ale that you need for Father has durability on it. Well, it gets warm. He wants it to be cold when it gets there, so you don't want to pick up the ale yet.
Your beauty, of course.
Oh, noble sir. I'm as honored as any simple maid can be. And apart from my beauty, what else might your worship desire?
Okay, now in her inventory, you can buy more Savior Schnapps here. Okay, now we have just barely enough to buy one of them. Okay, So it's probably not a good
My
idea to
pleasure.
buy Savior Schnapps unless you're just completely out of them.
So what are
But
we
you do have
to
an
do
option
with you,
here
Henry?
to do it.
The Deutsch is mouthing off again.
Oh, don't talk to me about him. He's a good customer, but when it comes to politics, he's unbearable. The number of times I had to throw him and the others out so they wouldn't start brawling.
Well, I'd say he's in exceptional form today.
Okay.
God be with you.
So I want to let you know that we have an option here on being able to get Savior Schnapps from her. She's going to give us some more Savior Schnapps when we come in and get the ale from her as well. Again, we just don't want to do that now. So what do we want to do with our lockpicks? Well, we're going to go on a little bit of a lockpicking spree here, and we're going to start with our house. Okay, so we'll go up here and we'll explain lockpicking. Now, the two things about this game that frustrate people the most are lockpicking and archery. Lockpicking on console sucks. There's no other way to put it. It is horrifically bad. And that's just because of the movements that are required to do it here. On console with a controller are very, very hard to do. Okay, so lockpicking. So I should save before this. So I'm going to illustrate one time here how to do the save and quit method. So if we're here, you can save and quit. Okay, that's going to quit the game. I'm now in Steam, which you can't see, and I'm going to relaunch the game. And it's starting back up now. Okay. So we'll be able to, once we get past the starting point, we'll be able to escape out. Okay, and now in our playline 2 that we have, our unexpected visit here is our exit save. That's what the icon means here. This is our exit save that we had when we left the game. Now this exit save is not going to stay in this list. If you save and quit again, it overwrites this one. Okay. So if we load this, okay, you can see that we're back here. Now, not every state of the game remains the same, meaning NPCs may be in different locations. If they weren't here in the house before, they may be in the house now. So do not save using that method or any method, whether it be Save Your Schnapps or this, in a trespassing location, okay? Because you don't know if things are going to move around when you're doing it. The game doesn't save its states that way. So save outside in a safe area before you do it. So now we're going to lockpick this. Now lockpicking. So the way this works is you find the sweet spot. Okay, and that's the sweet spot right there. Okay, not too far in, not too far around. It's right here on this point. And then you have to rotate the lock. As you rotate the lock, you have to move your cursor with it as this lock rotates. And this is what makes it incredibly hard on console to do. Okay? On mouse and keyboard, it's much easier, but it is also not really easy when you're starting off.
I feel quite
This
hungry.
thing, you'll see it, it's going to start trembling, and it's harder to keep it centered on where it needs to be. and you break lockpicks really, really quickly. Now, there's another way to make this easier. It's much easier on mouse and keyboard, anyway, if your sweet spot is around the middle, because then all you're doing is making really tiny movements with your mouths, and you don't have to make a huge, big movement all the way around the outside. Here, your hand doesn't even have to move. You're just moving it with your fingers. And that means you need to get the sweet spot to be somewhere around here. The easy way to do that is just escape out. Go back into the lockpick menu, and right in the middle, you can see that dot. The bigger the dot is, the closer the sweet spot is to your starting position. Since our starting position is right there in the middle, that will let you know whether or not that sweet spot is around the inner ring or not. So here, this icon is big, but it's not very big, which means it's still probably around the outside. So you just escape out. And now this one's pretty big. See how much bigger it is? So that lets you know that the sweet spot is somewhere around the middle. Okay? And then all you do is hold down the rotate button and move your cursor with it as you go. Okay? Now it's going to take me a while to get good with this again. Because it's been a week or so since I played this. So I'm going to break some lockpicks, and that's why you save beforehand. One, so that if you're in a trespassing area, you don't get seen. And two, so if you break a lockpick, you can restart. Okay? Now here we've got some Groshen. We've got a beta die here, which this plain die that Henry secretly made to bring him luck and love, which is why he'd rather not use it to gamble with. Okay? There are certain dice in the game that make gambling easier. This is not one of them. And then you're going to have skill books. These are going to directly increase your that particular skill once you learn to read. We cannot read right now. So we're just going to take all. And we're going to go dump this in our chest here. Because we don't need to be carrying these around. Okay, and there you can see the blotches. Our clothes are getting dirty. Okay, so we can go clean them off lightly using the trough. Okay, so now we're going to go back into town. And since we've only picked one chest, I'm not too worried. And you see he's already back up from us choking him out. We're going to go back to the tavern. And since I've only picked that one chest, not too worried about it. There are a bunch of chests here in the tavern.
God be with you, Henry.
That we can pick. Okay, and yeah. So we have a door here, and I think this is okay. Nope, it's not. Okay, so when you go into a place like this, you want to close the doors so that people can't see you. I don't think this room in particular is where we need to be anyway. But you can close the doors around behind you. Okay, I don't want that. I don't want that. Let's close this door. I don't think Bianca comes in here, but this one, no. And sometimes it may take you a while to get one where the sweet spot is close. There we go. Okay, and we're increasing our lockpicking skill. Now, these chests are a little bit iffy. Because there are people outside, and as soon as you execute a successful lockpick, you stand up. And that's a little bad. So this chest here might be a little iffy. But we'll try it. And we'll rob it all. We'll just take it all. We don't care about our encumbrance.
Got it right here.
Okay. And there are even times on some of these chests that you can get seen through the floor or through the wall. So that's why you always save before you do them. And I normally do a couple, maybe 4 chests at a time if they're all close like this, and then I make sure I save again. Okay, so there should be those chests that you can do in that door. Okay, and now this is leveling up our lockpicking skill. And you can see we're almost to level 2. And once we level up our lockpicking enough, we definitely want to go for lasting lockpicks. Okay, that requires minimum level of 3 to get there. We will get there though. Okay, so we're over encumbered, so let's go. So what's our nourishment? We're less. So let's take some of this stolen stuff and eat it. And you have to be careful, they will change positions in your inventory. But you want to eat the stolen stuff, because we're not going to be able to sell it here. Okay, now we're going to go put this in this chest up here just to get rid of it. Because there's nobody in town that's going to buy it. What I normally do is I normally don't sort through the chest inventories when I'm stealing. I just take it all, because it minimizes the time that I'm in a trespassing area, and I don't want to get caught. Okay, and I'm just going to move all. I don't have any weapons or armor or anything that I want to get back. But I do want my stuff. I do want the Groshen, the lockpicks, and 30 medals. Okay, the bandages aren't going to be of any use for us right now. So Mother was in there. Let's check and see where the guard is. Okay, so I don't see him. Okay, and that's just leveling up stealth some more. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the Deutsch's house again. Actually, let's not. Let's do something different. Let's do the next objective on our list. Go to the sword fighting lesson. Okay, that sword fighting lesson is right here with Combat Master Vanyik.
Something? Have you recovered from yesterday's great wound?
That was nothing. Except Mother noticed and had a word or two to say about it.
No mother's happy when her son starts to take an interest in swords. Where there's weapons, there's death. The question is, what do you want?
I don't want to rot in this hole forever. I feel like I don't belong here. I want to live and see the world. But the world's a dangerous place and I need to know how to protect myself.
Spoken like a man. And as it happens, today's your last chance. I have to leave. So, are you ready to get stuck in?
Yes.
All right, I'll wait on the ground by the sheepfold as usual.
Okay, so we're gonna have to follow him. We need to re-equip our items. And he's gonna take a while to get here. So we might as well pick up some nettles, because the quest isn't gonna be able to continue until he gets there. And he's gonna be trailing along behind us over there. You can see him in the background. So we might as well do something useful. You see him there in the background. It's another one of those escort the NPC to the location missions. And that. We just vaulted the fence. You can see our vitality. If we look at this. Current XP is 18. I think it's vitality. And now we're at 19. So vaulting fences, vaulting, not jumping, over a fence is a way to up your vitality. So again, you can sit here for the next hour and a half and just jump over fences and get your vitality up quite a bit if you want. Again, I'm not going to do that for you here, but it is a way that you can do it. So here's Combat Master Vanyik.
So, can we get started?
We can.
Good. And since today's the last time we'll be seeing each other, you can show me everything I've taught you so far. Very well. Let's start with the basics. Keep moving. Your life depends on it.
Okay, so movement is straightforward, but you see there's an icon in the middle. We're going to learn more about this here in a little bit, but you can see you're locked onto your target.
Now try to hit me. You have to put your weight into your attack. If you just fiddle around, you'll get nowhere. Try slashing from different sides. Unpredictability is the key. Never repeat yourself.
And down at the bottom, you have a purple bar. That is your enemy's health. Okay? Now the slash is the left button. And you can move your mouse in the direction that you want to slash, and it will slash that direction. So as I move my mouse, you can see it's moving right and left, and it's moving up and down. Okay? As I'm moving my mouse. That's going to indicate which side you're going to slash from.
Good.
And you can change the direction that you slash from as you do it.
The point of the blade is for stabbing. Try it a few times.
Now stab is the center dot, okay, and that's a weak attack.
Nice. Very good. Now you're getting it. Good, good. Let's try something else. One strike I can fend off without a sweat. But if you chain your strikes, I'll have a much harder time. As soon as you land one blow, follow it with another.
Now this is chain strikes, and here we're going to abuse this. Do not do chain strikes. Just wait 1 second between each attack and slash again. Okay? Don't do this.
All right.
Okay? That's a chain strike. You want to pause in between your strikes. The reason for that is as long as we do not succeed on 3 chain strikes, we can sit here and continually swing at him and up our strength and our sword skills because we're not completing this objective. And you see, we just upped our sword skill in the upper right-hand corner. Now, you can't use this forever. There's a spot later on outside of the prologue where you can do it forever and just level up your sword skill. However, this one, the game is not going to let us cheese it that much. And now you see we're leveling up warfare as well. The game is going to cut us off here a little bit. And we're going to fail the chain strike thing, but that's not a big deal. Just give yourself a pause every second. Swing. And we'll level up our sword and our warfare skills. And our strength. So now it's just a button press simulator. Until the game kicks us out of this. But this is an easy way to level up strength, sword, and warfare at the start of the game. At least a little bit. And it doesn't matter which direction you attack, he's going to block everything. Okay, so we'll just sit here and do this for a little bit. And you can see our stamina down at the bottom. It depletes every time we do an attack. And I think we can get sword level 3 out of this. Oh yeah, we're also upping agility, just not very much. As you move around, you can up your agility. And as you up these skills, it's going to up your main level as well.
Alright, that's enough. I don't know about you, but I'm tired and thirsty. Remember though, train hard. No one becomes a master swordsman overnight.
Okay, so now if we go look at our skills here, you can see that in strength we now have 3 and agility's 2. If we go to combat, we can see that our warfare is almost up to 2 and our sword is up to 2. So strength, we also have a perk we can get. Now neither one of these perks is all that great. Okay, blocking an opponent's strikes with your shield will cost you 30 less stamina. This is the one that's probably the most applicable early on here, because we are going to be able to equip a shield a little bit later on in the prologue, and we are going to have actual combat. And blocking with this would cost us less stamina. Gravedigger is fairly useful, or fairly useless, in my opinion. I don't tend to carry unconscious bodies around. Dead bodies, however, it can be useful, and there are a couple of specific instances where it can be quite useful to have in doing things a certain way. But it's not something I'm really going to focus on. So you can also save this perk point up for later on. Mule 1 is really good. You have to get a minimum level of 4 to do it. Tight grip at level 6 is really good. Head cracker is useful. It procs actually quite a bit. But Mule 2, Mule 3, and Dreadful are all useful. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hold it until Mule 1 comes up. And then at that point, I may also take Clinch Master, but I'll kind of just wait and see what I want to do with this build, so to speak, as we go. But that is a relatively easy way to level up some of your combat skills early on. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Deutsch's here. We're going to talk to our friends.
Welcome, Henry.
So are we doing this or not?
Wait. We have to check that the coast is clear.
Why? The Deutsch is in the tavern.
But maybe you noticed after all these years that he has a wife and a son.
And that's a problem?
Aye, it is. Henry, you go and lure her away somehow.
Why me?
Because you're the clever one.
Yeah.
Okay, now, this is Deutsch's house here. That's Deutsch's wife, right there. We need to lure her away, but once we've lured her away, we also want to get into her house. Okay? There is a door here that we can lockpick, and there are 2 chests in here that we want to lockpick as well. Okay? And once we lure her away, we don't want to go near our friends, because as soon as we start conversation with them again, we're going to be locked into a cutscene that we don't want to be a part of afterward. So we're going to lure her away, and then we're going to kind of move our way up there as soon as she's gone. So for this, I'm going to do another save and quit. Just because, again, we're going to be lockpicking out in the open here for the first part of it. So it's really not that bad to do a save and quit save. It doesn't take that long, especially if you keep Steam open. It doesn't take that long to load back into the game and get the game going again. So early on in the prologue, if you want to maximize some of your skills like lockpicking and that sort of stuff, then save and quit is a viable way of doing it. And I would recommend it because once we get into the next part of the prologue, you're going to want to get a bunch of lockpicking done in there to get some gold so you can jumpstart the main storyline. So let's talk to Deutsch's wife here.
What do you want, lad?
I just went by the tavern and your husband was in there talking nonsense. I thought someone should take him home before he gets himself in trouble.
What sort of nonsense?
Well, he kept saying that Sigismund was right and King Wenceslas is a drunkard, that sort of thing. Some people took exception, so I thought...
God almighty, the fool. Next thing he'll start on about the popes.
He might have mentioned the popes too.
Thank you for telling me. I just hope I can catch him before he gets into another fight.
Okay, and now again, we don't want to go near our friends. We're going to go around the corner here and kind of look at the road. Make sure there's nobody up here. Okay, so some Groschen there. And then we have another chest here. So again, just trying to get that middle icon to look as big as we can. This one isn't bad. But it is much harder to move that big distance. And here we're just going to take everything. Then we'll make our way out. Okay, now we're not overloaded. Oh no, did I get caught? No, I didn't. Okay.
What are you waiting for, soldier? Fire the trebuchet! For king and country!
For king and country, my ass. This is all good, clean, fun.
Nearly as good as having that traitor in the pillory. Nearly. Now that would be sweet.
That's for Sigismund!
Woohoo! Eat shit, doshes.
You bastards! What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Hey, Hans, can't you see? We're decorating your house for you.
It's like your old man was saying in the tavern about that traitor Sigismund. We're just doing what we have to do.
Horse Hans! I'll make those smiles off your faces!
Oh, I'd like to see you try. What are you doing here, Zbyszek? Hanging out with this poxy Deutscher? Maybe you'd like to try out the latest German fashion.
Fucker! I'll make you pay for that.
And now you're going to get into a melee here. Now, unarmed combat, there's a whole lot of explanation for this. But at the end of the day, you're not going to lose this. It's 4-on-3 to begin with. So as long as you kind of mix it up and you hook and you jab, then you're not going to end up losing this. You're going to take some damage to your health, but unless you're playing on hardcore, you probably don't have much chance of losing this. And every one of them that goes down just makes it easier for you to do. So we can escape out of this. See, he's down. And now he's
Stop
down.
right now! The catch pole is on his way!
Damn!
Okay, and now we need to run. Because the catch poles are after us. Okay, and all you have to do is run away a small amount. You don't have to run all the way out here with the rest of these guys. Okay? Just have to run far enough away from the encounter for them to stop chasing you. In this case, it's just a really short distance. Now, this little area here is also quite useful. There are a couple of cows around here that what you can do is this guy who picks flowers, you can knock him out or you can kill him to be able to do this longer, and you can punch the cows in here. You cannot be seen while you're punching cows. Okay? It's a crime to punch cows. Here they are right here. But you can punch them. And as long as no one comes along this pathway here, which a farmer will and a guard does occasionally come from down that direction, as long as no one sees you do it, you can punch these cows and you can get your melee skills up. We don't have any weapons yet, but you can get both your strength and your warfare stat and your unarmed stats up just by punching cows. I'm not going to do the cow punching simulator here, but it is another viable way to get those stats up. Now, what you can do is you punch this one first. He's going to run off that way. Then you go over, you punch this one. He's going to run that way. By the time you turn around, this one will be coming back. You can punch it again, and you can punch this one again. Or, like I said earlier, you can punch them in a way that you can get them into a corner. There aren't a whole lot of corners here, but I think you can get him stuck here or here around this pole, and you can just sit there and punch all day long until it dies. So, another way to increase your strength stat, but again, for me, not something I'm going to do. Now, I didn't take any damage there, which is nice. Otherwise, what you can do is you can go back to your house up there and talk to your mother, and she will heal you for free.
May the Lord watch over you, Henry.
Okay? So now I need to meet the guys at Kunesh's house because they're going to help me do the next step of trying to get the hammer and nails another way. These two go with each other. We're not going to do that yet. What we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to pick up the cross guard at the castle. We can level up our speech a little bit more up here. Guess who's woken back up?
I'll be with you.
I'm with you, Henry.
How are you?
Ugh, things could be better. Kunesh owes us money and he doesn't want to pay.
That drunkard? It won't be easy wringing any coin out of him. What will you do?
I don't know yet, but I have a feeling it won't go smoothly.
Too right. Kunesh won't listen to anything but the whip. Mind you don't lose your teeth.
I've just been to the tavern. The Deutsch was saying all kinds of shit about how Sigismund should be king.
That bastard. One day he'll get his teeth knocked down his throat if he doesn't shut up.
And here's what you really came for.
Father sent me. We're forging a sword for Sir Radzig, and the Chamberlain has the crossguard and pommel. Father had them engraved in Sasau.
Right. They're here. The Chamberlain gave them to us for you. We looked them over. Beautiful work. I've never seen anything so fine.
I can't wait to see the sword. Just make sure you don't botch it.
When did I ever botch anything?
Where shall I start?
Ah, shut up and give me what I want, or I'll kick your ass this evening.
Right away, your lordship.
Magnificent. Shame I can't keep the sword for myself. Well, I better go if we're to get the job done by this evening.
Godspeed. See you later in the tavern.
You certainly will. After today's work, the ale might even be on me.
Okay, now you can talk to
Good day to you.
Yaroslav and get him greetings
God
and
save,
up your...
lads.
Same to you. What's new?
Ugh, things could be better. Kunesh...
We've already had these dialogue
know yet.
options.
Too right. Kunesh won't...
But this is what I talked about earlier, is that if they're bolded,
Save, lads.
Same to you.
do them again.
I've just been to the tavern.
That bastard.
You level up your speech for
May the Lord
when you
watch
do
over
it.
you.
Okay, and you're going to see that a lot, where you get a dialogue that you've already seen or you've already done, but it's white, it's bolded. So just go ahead and do it. Up your speech.
What's the matter?
That poor guy. He just gets abused. Okay, so now Kunesh. Okay. So, Kunesh is here. The lads are here around the corner. Okay, now I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to wait for Kunesh. I'm going to steal from him right now. now that I have lockpicks, and we got out before he came back. So what you can do with Kunesh is you can abuse the living daylights out of Kunesh. And you can no one seems to care that you beat Kunesh up. Alright? It's part of the quest line to beat him up in public. None of the catchpoles come after you. And by the way, if you don't know, catchpoles used to be a thing back in the day. It was basically a big long pole with a rope at the end of it, and catchpoles would use it while you're running away from them to loop it over your leg or your arms or your neck and yank you down and control you. So that's why they called it a catchpole. But yeah, the catchpoles won't chase you when you're dealing with Kunesh. So you can do whatever you want with him and level up your strength that way as well. Now here, we can get the axe by stealing it from him, but let's go talk to our friends instead.
Hey, Henry's come to see us.
Well, we sorted that Deutsch out.
That was pretty close, eh?
That old bastard didn't stand a chance.
True, but I'm worried that fucker Hans will snitch on us.
Well, let him. Then I'll snitch on him. And anyway, what can they do to us for throwing a bit of dung?
Good point. It's not as if anyone really likes the Deutsch.
We've sorted out Deutsch. Now I've got someone else to deal with.
Another beating? Count me in.
Kunesh owes money to my father, but he won't pay. I'll have to shake it out of him.
Sure, mate. You helped us, so we'll help you.
Let's get to it then.
Okay, and now we're going to be fighting Kunesh here.
Kunesh, get out here, you old goat. I've something to show you.
What the fuck are you here for? You want me to take a whip to you or call a catchpole?
Just try it, you old drunk.
Cunt!
Help you.
Enough! Enough! I give up. Take what you want. It's not much, but it's all I have. You understand?
Okay, so now we can go in and freely lockpick his chest, but we've already done that, so that's going to complete that objective for us. And if we look, what we have to do is buy a bag of charcoal. Okay, now we are not going to do that. The charcoal seller is here. You can certainly, if you would like, talk to him and haggle and purchase
I'll be with you, Henry.
that stuff. Okay, now we're not going to do that because there is a trader over here. Okay, now trader is exactly what it sounds like. Be careful when you're dealing with them because you don't want to accidentally steal anything here.
God be with you.
Take care.
Okay, but she's going to sell things. And you can buy charcoal from her as well if you want. However, the fact that she's selling charcoal here is helpful for us. And the reason for that is what you're going to see here in a little bit. Okay, she also sells savior schnapps, which is also going to be something we want to pay attention to. Okay, and that's because of up here. So there's a hard lockpick here. My lockpicking skills are at 2. Okay, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to... Oh, did I put my savior schnapps back up here? I might have. They might be in the chest over here. I keep forgetting to get it out when I say place all. Because now we're dealing with hard locks. And I have a much greater chance of failing these. Yep, here's my savior schnapps. So we're going to try and pick our way into the traders here. And get our charcoal for free. Now we have to be a little careful about the people out here and where they're moving. So we need to be careful of her. She will see us if we're up here. So we're going to wait for her to go past. We're going to save our game. And it says this at the bottom. This will cost you a savior schnapps. Okay, so that's kind of what I was afraid of. We're a little bit short on being able to do it. So I think down here, and savior schnapps gets you drunk. It basically is an alcohol, basically, and I want to look in here. And I'm just going to quickly do this one. I don't care where the sweet spot is.
What's going on out there?
Somebody saw me, I think. Yep. So I'm not going to go in. I'm going to wait for her to leave. Because there is another door and another chest inside that house that I can pick, and I think get my lockpicking skill up to 3. Yeah, because see, I'm almost there, and that's what's going to unlock the ability for me to pick hard locks. I'm going to wait for her to go. Now that the door's open, I can just walk in and do it. So as soon as she takes off and walks down that way, then we'll follow behind her. Not too close because they can hear you. That's why there's a noise stat. And you can punch chickens too, by the way. Do the same thing with any of the animals here. As long as you're not seen, you're fine. And again, I don't really care. Okay, so now we have our lockpicking perk. And I'm not going to worry about that chest. I just want to get out of here. Okay, because now that's going to get us lasting lockpicks. Our lockpicks last twice as long and they're more durable. So that is an incredibly useful perk for us to have before we go into this. And now, I wasted a savior schnapps there because I wasn't ready to be able to do this. But I'm willing to waste another one here. So see, she's walking this way. No one walks up here, so you don't have to close this door behind you, necessarily, once you're in there, but she will definitely see you. So will she. Okay, come on. I actually don't think she can see us through this, but I don't want to take a chance. Well, I might as well. I've got to save. Don't want that one. That one's going to be a little better. This is going to be a hard one to do. Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to keep that. I got a little impatient there. We'll just reload that one. Because hard locks don't mess around. Okay, this is kind of above our skill level here. We want to make sure we get one that's in the middle. Here. Okay, and we got it. Okay, and now we have a couple of lock-picking things here we can do. Now we need to be a little careful with these chests as well, but we've got to save. So... getting all the bad ones. Maybe I can, it's easy, so maybe I can do it. Okay, so a little Groshin there. We've got a hard chest, and we've got a very hard chest. Now the very hard chest we can't pick. Okay, but the hard chest here... I thought we could pick... Did I load the wrong one? No, we're lockpicking 3. So I'm not sure why we're not able to pick those.
Henry, I'm glad you came.
Let's go back to this house down here and finish lockpicking this. Because normally you can pick those at level 3. I don't know where she is. We do have a save before we pick those. There, she's inside.
What?
So there is one more
Who is it?
chest in there, or there's... Yeah, there's another chest in her house. She's locked onto me, so I need to move away from her so that she'll go back to her normal stuff. There she goes. There is another person here as well. Oh, she went back into her house. She saw me through a window and came out to investigate. So normally I can lockpick those two chests up there, and one of them will have charcoal in it. So you don't have to buy the charcoal. You can just lockpick into that chest instead. And I still have 4 lockpicks, right? Yes. Let me see if she's going to leave her house or not. And if she's not, then again, I'm not going to waste time. And I'll just go buy the charcoal. Because my personal playthrough, I definitely go through and get my lockpicking skill up here. So I can pick those. But if she's not going to leave her house, then like I say, I'm not going to mess with it. Because there is another one over here, I think. Yeah, that I can do. I have to watch out here in doing this one, though. Because that guard over there can sometimes see me, and then she, right there.
Hey, is someone there?
I think if she saw me, is she going to turn left? No, she's not. Let's see if we can lockpick anything in here. Okay, let's see if this one... All the bad ones. There we go. Okay, and they can see you through the windows here, so you want to be careful. Okay, so there's a new level in lockpicking. I'm gonna see if I can... I don't think he saw me. Okay, now let's go over to the trader and see if we can pick those chests now. So I've wasted a bunch of savior schnapps here.
May the Lord...
So I'm probably going to do a save and quit here. Just because I've wasted enough savior schnapps. I wasted 2 there. Okay. We'll just load back in here real quick and see if we can pick these chests now. I know you can, because I did it in my personal playthrough. It's just I spent a long time going through all of these buildings in my personal playthrough to pick things, to pick chests, so I might have had more lockpicking skill than what I do right now. Okay, now I can pick them. Okay, some Groshen there. And then the one, we don't want to go near the stairs. Close that door. Now these, you can be seen. Okay, so not that one. Trying to get one where their center dot is big. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we can't pick that one. And then right around the corner over here is a hard chest. Now, if you fail this, they will hear it downstairs. And this one has her entire inventory in it, including the charcoal and the savior schnapps. So that's going to update the objective to get a bag of charcoal. We didn't have to buy it. We just stole it here. And now I'm severely overloaded. And look how slow this walk mechanic is.
God be with you, Henry.
I told you, this is one of the worst over-encumbered mechanics I've ever seen in a video game. It just punishes you. So we're going to walk back up here to our house, and we're going to drop all this stuff in our chest. Just going to take us a bit to get there. And some of this is food and that sort of stuff that we don't need, so we're going to take a look at it. But it's all marked as stolen, so we're not going to be able to sell any of it here. But you'll see how that will correct itself a little bit later on. And we are just about done here in the town. Like I say, there's more that you can do. Maximize your skills some more and that sort of stuff. If there's anything that you want to do, now's the time to do it, because Skalitz is not going to look the same here in a little bit. I'm not going to linger in here, and there is something that I want to do to end the live stream today. And it looks like the timing's going to work out pretty good. Let's go in here and unload all of this stuff. So, antidote, apples, bandages, beets, bludgeon, all of this sort of stuff. The bread we can keep. Lots of chamomile. We'll unload half the charcoal. We only need 10. Crossguard we need to keep. The dandelions we can unload. Dried fruit, dried mushrooms never go bad. Any dried fruit will never lose its condition. So any dried item anyway, so keep that. The water serves a specific purpose in alchemy. So you want to keep it. Kunish's axe hammer. Keys we don't need. The lockpicks we definitely want. We'll keep the marigold decoctions. The nettles, we want 30. Oh. We want to keep 30. Most of this other stuff, the pretzels and all that sort of stuff, is probably going to be spoiled by the time we get back here. Okay, so now we have 6 savior schnapps here. The blacksmith kit and the cobbler's kit are really good. We're going to need to keep those. The torches we're not going to need. Okay. So now, we look at our quest list here. We just need to buy ale at the tavern. So let's go do that. We're also going to get some more savior schnapps from her. Make sure nobody's around. And just as a parting gift here for this guy. Okay, so let's go down and complete this, and we're going to get thrown into a series of events here.
Welcome, Henry.
Which you can't get out of. Also a one-way ticket to changing everything here in Skalitz and teleporting you all the way across the map. So you want to make sure that whatever you've got finished here, you want to be done with it at this point. So we're going to talk to Bianca.
Look at the state you're in.
I need ale for father.
A pitcher as usual?
Aye. Bring me a cool one from the cellar.
But of course. Good luck then. Here you are.
Thanks.
It's on me today. You can pay me back this evening.
Out of the question. Here you go. And this evening I'll have something more for you.
I can't wait.
Thanks. You'll have something to look forward to this evening.
You too. Oh, by the way, that shifty-looking fellow was asking after you.
Vanier?
I suppose. He's a man who makes his coin robbing honest wayfarers. I'm sure of it. I'll be happy when he's gone for good. But what in heaven's name are you up to with him?
He promised to teach me how to use a sword.
What use would that be to you?
Enough. You sound just like father. I'll be going now. See you this evening.
Hal, I've got something special for you.
Is that so? Now what would that be?
Your favorite, Savior Schnapps.
Really? You're an angel.
I hope you'll thank me properly later.
You bet I will.
Okay, she gives us 5 more savior schnapps. You're supposed to do this right off the bat so you get access to them. But I wanted to do all of the other stuff before the ale triggered, because that's a timed event, basically. So now we're going to go up here, and as soon as we talk to Father, we're going to get thrown into a series of stuff. And it's going to go pretty quickly. I'm going to do my best to explain it as we go through it.
About time. Have you got everything I wanted?
I have charcoal, the hilt, and the ale. We can start.
Good job. Let's have it then, son. Well done. Right. Let's see what kind of job the Master in Sasau did for us. Look at that, lad. Well, that's what I call craftsmanship.
What does the inscription mean?
Damned if I know. Doesn't look like Czech to me. Latin, maybe? Lord Radzig ordered it. Oh, this will be the finest sword I've ever made. Have you got the charcoal? Good. Then fire up the forge. We'll put it all together. By the way, someone paid me a call. I reckon you might know what it was about.
I'm not sure.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure you and your friends threw dung at Deutsch's freshly whitewashed house. He was here with the catchpole earlier, and it was not a friendly visit. What got into you, Hal?
That Deutsch was talking treason in the tavern about Sigismund and the king. He got what he deserved.
Got what he deserved, did he? You can go and clean up the mess you made and apologise to him. I have a trade to run. The German pays well, and having my son in the pillory helps nothing and nobody, least of all the king. You understand?
Yes.
Look me in the eye, Henry. Do you understand?
I understand.
Good. And we'll never have this conversation again.
So you think it's right to let traitors speak ill of our king?
The boy gets caught, making a fool of himself, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. So Deutsch spouts rubbish and what? You turn into a common thug. You might win a fight with violence, but you'll never win an argument. Remember, Henry, if you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth and not your fists.
The furnace is ready.
Right, we'll do the grip. I'll heat it up, and when I take it out, you slip the grip on so it fits exactly. You know what you're doing. Do it. Good. Once more. That's it. Done. Now file it down so it sits well in the hand. I'll prepare the guard.
Father, why did you leave Prague? Who ever heard of a master swordsmith making horseshoes in a village?
I had my reasons, Hal. And here I have your mother and you. Why would I want any other life?
Do you remember Emperor Charles?
I do. Life was good under his reign.
Better than now.
He built half of Prague and a score of castles, had a bridge made over the Moldau, and founded a university. And all without a war. He knew how to rule.
Better than Wenceslas.
Better by far. But Wenceslas doesn't have it easy. It's hard to step into the shoes of someone whose like is born only once 1,000 years.
What about Sigismund?
Do you think Charles would have brought an army down on his own people like Sigismund? No. Wenceslas may not be the equal of his father, but Sigismund, he brings shame to the royal name. How's it going? Give it here, and we'll put it all together.
It's magnificent.
Indeed it is. The Lord be with you. My father sent me for those nails.
Good day to you, Teresa. They're ready. Will you fetch them for me, Hal? They're in the trunk in the living room.
Okay, so we're gonna go get the nails here.
Here are those nails you wanted.
Thanks. So, how's Bianca?
She's fine. Why do you ask?
Just wondering, will you be going to the dance this evening?
We will.
Maybe we'll see each other there. Anyway, mustn't keep you. I'll be on my way. That sword is truly beautiful.
Fine lass, eh? Now, stop staring at her and come and see this. It's time for the trial by fire. We did a fine job.
I would expect nothing less from such a renowned swordsmith.
Well, those days are gone, sir.
You haven't lost your skills, though. Would you like to try it?
Sir, what good is a sword to a commoner?
Let him try it. You still have a lot to learn. Ask your father to show you how. He knows what he's about.
Learning his trade will serve him better in life, sir.
Perhaps. But who knows what the future holds for each of us. I see that you almost have it finished.
It just needs a polish, then Henry will bring it to you.
Excellent. Fine work, very fine. A sword such as this will bring honor to its bearer. What say you, Svan?
True, Sir Radzig. If I'd have had its like back in Nicopolis, things would have worked out differently. How odd to find such an accomplished swordsmith working in a place like this. A man of his talent would have no problem making a fortune in Prague or Vienna.
You're right. It's a very long and peculiar story.
I'd be glad to listen to it over a cup of wine, but duty calls, and I must leave. Here you are. Learn from your father. He truly is a master of his craft.
I'm sure our paths will cross again.
They certainly will.
Once it's ready, send your son up to me with it. Good work, Martin.
Sure.
It's been an honor, Sir Isvan. Have a safe journey to Sasau.
The honor is mine, Sir Radzig. Thank you for the hospitality.
A long, peculiar history.
That was a long time ago. I might tell you about it sometime, but not today.
Will you teach me how to use it like Sir Radzig said?
Why?
Well, it could come in useful. Maybe I'll travel a bit before settling down. I'd like to know more than the tavern on the green and the forge.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life, son? It can end before it gets started. I might teach you how to handle a sword, and then someone will shoot you with a crossbow as soon as you set foot outside the house.
You talk as if you've seen it happen.
A man my age has seen a lot. Being a blacksmith might bring no glory, but it has its benefits, like keeping your head on your shoulders. I want to end my days in Skalitz, here, beneath the linden tree and by your mother's side.
Well, so do I, one day. But first, I'd like to see the world, meet new people.
Meet them, or beat them?
Meet. You have to keep going on about it.
Then you've no need to learn swordplay.
A messenger.
He was in a hurry. What's happened? Listen to me, Hal. Listen carefully. Take the sword, go into the house, and grab anything else important from the trunk. Go to the castle. Hurry.
What about you?
Your mother is in the village. I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind.
I'll go with you.
No. You'll do what I say right now. Give the sword to Sir Radzig. If anything happens, he'll take care of you. He owes me.
Quickly! We have to close the gates!
Move! Come on, we're closing!
Move it, people!
Come on!
We're running
Come
out of
on!
time! Oh, Henry! Thank God! Get inside, quick! We have to shut the gates!
Keep running, people! Come on!
Mind this for me.
Are you mad? You can't go back! Ah!
Get through the gates!
Okay, and we're going to get a game save there for run. Okay. Now, you don't want to sit here. This is going to be a great ending point for us today on the live stream. This is going to lead us into the second half of the prologue. One thing I will say is that before you talk to your father, there is an achievement for getting thrown in jail in Skalitz. Now, that will lead to a game over, because if you get thrown in jail in Skalitz, the whole city gets burned here by the attack that we just saw, and there will be a cutscene that will play, and it will lead to game over, but you will get the achievement, and you can just reload the previous save before it happens. So don't forget to do that if you want that achievement before you leave Skalitz. As far as next week, we're going to immediately start here. Like I say, the events that take place at the very start of this quest here are very fast-paced, and they are very point of no return-ish, one-time playthrough only type thing. So I'm not going to be able to explain a whole lot. I'm going to try and explain as I'm going through it. But we don't have time for that today, and it's a great place to start out next week, because the second half of the prologue, or I guess the second third of the prologue, is going to show us in a new location. We're going to have some new explorations to be able to do before we try and make our way back here, which will be the third and final part of the prologue. I don't know if we'll be able to get through all of that next week or not. We'll certainly see what we can do. But for now, this gives us a great place to end the live stream for today. It was very exciting there at the end. I know, I apologize for the flower picking simulator that we went through, but it is quite important for me to get that skill up to where it is right now to make it a lot easier and jumpstart alchemy, which we're probably gonna see not next week, but the week after. And that's going to really supercharge our money making in this game. So it was important for me to do it now. So, but next week will be really exciting when we start off. So I hope you all tune in. As always, thank you all for being here. All of the subscribers to my channel, thank you all for being here, especially to the members that we always talk about every week. Thank you very much, because as I always say, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.